Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're going to be going through the Secret Lair, the ultimate Pencil Superdrop. Why is it named this? I hate it so much. Apparently each order will come with a free pencil though, so I guess that's why, but yeah, the gimmick is there. So this is an upcoming super drop. There's going to be a bunch of secret lairs that come out at once. It mentions 8 different secret lairs, but they've only showed 5 plus the commander deck, so that's 6 in total. So I guess there's 2 other ones. I'm not entirely sure what they are or anything. As with all secret lairs, these are limited quantities. There's only going to be so many up there, and once they sell out, they're gone. And you do get free shipping for orders of $100 or above if you are interested in any of these. Spoiler, there is a couple that have some nice value, not amazing, not too bad. And the art on all of them, I think, looks great, but overall, it's not bonkers value from any of these. So let's go through them one at a time, and I'm going to show you guys how much their, cheapest version of that card is that's not from a secret lair. And as I said, kind of look at the value, look at the art and stuff. So the first one here we've got is Secret Lair X Keep. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is apparently a radio station. I don't know anything about it. I'm over here in Australia. You are not alone. So this one here is going to be 30 US for the non-foil and 40 US for the rainbow foil. First up, we've got Cultural Exchange here, a nice kind of card. Switch any number of creatures from one person to the other and then switch their creatures over to them. So a cool kind of like, I guess it's semi kind of theft deck, but also this theme is apparently around kind of like group hug-esque, which is interesting. And the value isn't too bad on this one here. We've got Follower of Fancies here. Artifact players have no maximum hand size. You can make it so people draw and then each opponent mills cards. Not too bad either. It's not great value here, but it's decent art if you're into that kind of thing. I'm saying, decent art because I think it is decent even if I'm not a huge fan of it. This one I'm a huge fan of. So this is Concordant Crossroads, which is an amazing world enchantment. All creatures are going to have haste with it, and it is very nice value. $16, 18 here. If you pick up like the cheapest version of this at $30 US, this is half of the price of it there, and the art's really cool too. And then we've got Rites of Flourishing here. I hate the text on this. It's getting smaller and it's hard to read. Anyway, at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, and then each player may play an additional land. So these are all, as I said, kind of group hug themed. And then finally, we've got Font of Mythos here. So between this and the Concordant Crossroads, you've got like the full price of this one, right? So this is Font of Mythos. At the beginning of each player's draw step, they draw 2 additional cards. So all up, this is a nicely themed one. You can use all of these in the same deck. I kind of wish that it came with a commander, like, Bumbleflower or something like that. Bumbleflower would work with all these, right? I'm just double checking. Yep, she would work with all of those. Any kind of blue-green one would. Yeah, I think that it's nice kind of value, and, some of the art's not too bad if you're into that kind of thing. Next up, we've got Secret Lair X Keep. I'm just saying keep. I assume it's probably not that, where the music matters. So you get 2 of each of these cards because they are lands. Non-foil is $30 and the foil is $40. So you're paying roughly around $3 each, right, per land. And that's not... I don't think that's unheard of for kind of fancy lands, right? Like some people would pay $3 for certain full art lands and everything. And I do love the art of these, especially if you are looking at like, a music themed deck, whether it's your Hatsune Miku deck or, there's that new bard who's getting the Universes Within from Dungeons and Dragons, getting a reprint with Universes Within recently. That's, music themed, obviously, because he's the bard. I think that these are decent. I love the idea of like, it's just a picture and then you've got like the mana thing. And it's not kind of too obscure as to which mana symbol it is either, which is really cool. I like these. It's one that you're not going to get value in regards to the cards because, these lands are dime a dozen. You can pick up lands for like, 1 cent each or something, even cheaper. You can get them for free half the time. But they're decent looking. Now, before we get into the, more of it, if you guys like this kind of video, let me know. Also, this is the best place to subscribe for instant speed news. This came out earlier this morning. I covered immediately the commander deck. I'm, had to wait a little bit to cover this because I've got kids, but still within the same day. And, we've still got like 2 weeks until this comes out. So yeah, jump onto it. Next up, we've got featuring Jay Howell. So famously the guy who does the Bob's Burger art. I think he's the original character designer from it. And this is $30 for the non-foil and $40 for the foil. Now, there is some decent value here, but I wanted to talk about the fact that I absolutely love, and I really hope they start doing it more. Similar to that first one. The first one fits into it too. But this one here, all of the cards will fit within the same deck and also within the deck of the fancy commander that you get with it. So this one here is the Marchesa the Black Rose. I'm not a huge fan of the Bob's Burger art, but I know that there are people who are, and I can kind of see the appeal for certain people. So this is only $1.10, right? But she's the commander, and she can have all of these cards within her deck. We've got Agents of Treachery, a great card to bring alongside a Marchesa deck. Marchesa. I butchered that name as well. Gain control of target permanent, and then at the beginning, you get to draw 3 cards. If you control 3 or more permanents, you don't control. Her decks will steal stuff all the time. We've got Priest of Forgotten Gods, sacrifice creatures, and then any number of players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature of their choice, and then you add 2 black and draw a card. A great card in a Marchesa deck. We've got Treacherous Ogre. Another one, got Dethrone built in here, and decent value there, $9.11 value. And then Uncivil Unrest, another great one, great value, great card, and really, really suits the deck well too. Overall, I'm really impressed and I'm really happy with that one, specifically because it comes with a legendary in the same art style as the Secret Lair, and all the Secret Lair cards fit within that legendary's deck. I think it's great. This is what I don't think is great. So they've started doing, right, we've got our normal, so this is Everything is on Fire. This is the next one. We've got $30 for non-foil. We've got $40 for rainbow foil, and then $100 for a raised foil. This is $100 for 5 cards. 5 cards. And once you see the value of the cards, it's ridiculous. These are the kinds of things that I would have thought they would put in a Chaos Vault, because of the fact the Chaos Vault is meant to be aimed towards trying new things. So we've got Lava Spike, we've got Rift Bolt, we've got Skewer the Critics, we've got Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then we've got the Chain Lightning. Again, all of these are absolutely amazing art. Apologies to the artists if anyone thinks that I am, bagging on the artist. These are all great art, insanely good art. They all fit within the same deck because they're all like, red spell slingery kind of, deck that all work great. But $100 for this is insane. Even the card choices are not great because they are all super cheap. I don't think there was a card. Was there a card even over $1 here? Oh, sorry. There are 2 cards over $1, none over $1.50. And this is the raised foil versions of them. It's the same art, just with like the golden raised foil art. And don't get me wrong, raised foils are absolutely great, right? I love raised foils. I do not love them for twice the price of the rainbow foils, though. It's insane. Next, we've got Vroom. We've got the same thing here. Same $30 for a non-foil, $40 for a rainbow foil, and then $100 for the raised foil. And I think this one's even worse in regards to it. We'll get to why I think it's worse in a second. We've got Mishra's Bauble here. A great card, don't get me wrong. And you're going to see it a lot because a lot of decks that some decks that run Mishra's Bauble will also run like ways to be able to recur it and everything, right? We've got Underworld Breach. This is the most expensive card in either of these 2 layers, and it's a great card. It is decent value. It also just got banned from Modern, which is one of the reasons that its price was so high, I think. We've got the Soul Scar Mage. We've got Monastery Swift Spear, and we've got Lava Dart. Again, all of them, not insanely great value. I think you get like, $12 of value tops here. And these are the raised foils. The raised foils are the exact same, right? They don't even have that golden trim or anything like that. You cannot tell the difference from a PNG, right? Between this and its version over here. So obviously in person, they're going to look great. And if you love the art, don't get me wrong, don't let me talk you out of picking them up. If you love the art for them and you really want to go with that raised foil, if you have more money than you want to spend on other things, but at that price for $100 for one set of these 5 raised foils, Oh boy, please, please don't do that unless you've got a lot of extra money. So yeah, as I said, $100 for 5 cards is insane, especially given the cards are just not great value. As I said, like they're $12 max of value. The art on all of them, I think, is great, even if it's not necessarily my thing. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Bob's Burgers style art, but I know that some people are, and I can appreciate that. There's more layers like the Marchesa one. And I hope we get more layers like the Marchesa one. Marchesa, anyway. Because I just love the fact that they tie in these 5 cards that all work really well and go into a deck with her. And they're all cards that kind of help that deck and make that deck stuff. So they're just great. I think that they're just more decks that kind of more secret layers that tie together and will all be running the same one are great. So if you're looking for value, I think the featuring Jay Howell one, the Bob's Burgers one, the Marchesa one is great. The Secret Lair, You Are Not Alone, that first one is great as well. If you're just looking at the value, even then, the value I don't think was huge compared to some of the previous ones. The You Are Not Alone one had some really great value though. So yeah, if you're looking for purely value and don't care about art, potentially those two. But even then, I think you're better off not getting them if you're looking for great reprints. Maybe the You Are Not Alone one, that was great. Overall, let me know what you guys think. I love those kind of, as I said, the ones that kind of tie in together. I hate these new raised foils. $100 for 5 cards is insane. Let me know. Have a great day and goodbye.